Hello everyone, it's wonderful to be with you again. I wonder what you're afraid of. I wonder what frightens you. Are you scared of the dark? Are you scared of spiders? Are you scared of the dentist? Well, those are things that lots of people are afraid of. And sometimes a wee bit of fear can be healthy. For instance, if we were not afraid of anything, if nothing scared us, if we were completely fearless, then we might do things that are dangerous, that are silly. We might jump off a big hill, or we might ride our bike without our cycle helmet. We might swim with sharks, or we might cross the road without looking left or right and waiting for the green man. So a wee bit of fear, sometimes a healthy thing, keeps us safe and keeps us from doing dangerous things. But sometimes we're afraid of things for no good reason. We're just afraid, we're frightened of things that have never happened and probably never will happen. And sometimes that fear spoils our lives. It stops us doing things that we would like to do. In the Bible, it talks a lot about fear, and it says over and over again, do not be afraid. In fact, it might say do not be afraid as much as 365 times in the Bible. And if that's true, that means there's a do not be afraid for every day of the year. Jesus was always telling people not to be afraid, to trust him and to have faith in him, and no matter what happened, that he would always be there for him and that he would give them strength to face whatever it is. Now, I've got a story for you about someone who was afraid, and it's called Jesus Walks on Water. One evening, just as it was getting dark, Jesus told his friends, the disciples, to get into the fishing boat and row to the other side of the lake. Jesus was very tired and he wanted to be alone for a while to pray to God. So the disciples climbed into the boat and started to row out into the lake. During the night, Jesus stayed on the mountainside all by himself, quietly praying. The disciples were now a long way from shore. It was dark and the oars were heavy and the disciples were sleepy. A strong wind started to blow and the little boat was being tossed about in the waves. Then suddenly the disciples looked up and there was Jesus walking towards them on the water, but they didn't recognize it was Jesus. The disciples froze. They were terrified. "It's a ghost," they cried out. Jesus said, "It's me. Don't be afraid." The disciples peered out, trying to see who it was. One of the disciples, named Peter, said, "If it really is you, Jesus, tell me to walk on the water toward you." And Jesus said to him, "Come." Peter climbed over the side of the boat and began to walk towards Jesus. He took a few steps, but then when he realized just what he was doing, he saw the wind and the waves all around him and he was frightened, and that's when he began to sink. "Save me, Jesus," he shouted, and all at once Jesus reached out and caught him. "Oh, you have so little faith," Jesus said. "Why did you doubt?" Together they got back into the boat, and at that very moment the wind stopped and the sea became calm. So what Jesus was really saying to Peter was that he didn't really need to be afraid, even if he couldn't walk on water, because that's a really difficult thing to do, because Jesus would have put his arm out and saved him. And that Peter's fear shouldn't have stopped him from moving forward.
But someone saying to us, do not be afraid, doesn't always take away our fear. We have to gradually learn not to be afraid. We have to realise that that wee spider that we're afraid of is probably much more terrified of us than we are afraid of it. We have to learn that the dentist is actually our friend and they want to help us keep our teeth healthy. And by realising that there is nothing there when we switch off the light that wasn't there when the light was on. And even sometimes if we do face frightening things in life, like getting caught in a big storm, well, we know that that storm isn't going to last forever and it will soon pass and everything will be okay again. Till next time, stay safe and do not be afraid. God bless.